Paycheck Planner Plan and Monitor page shows you the list of the events of your calendar along with the identified impacts of those events to your budget. And this creates a very easy view that warns you of any kind of changes in the budget that may be not so safe, where you have maybe running low on cash and may not have enough money to pay for something that you might have already planned. So let's look at a couple of ways to get to this Plan and Monitor page, and we'll switch to the browser to do that. I'm logged into my test on Google account. I'm in my calendar. I've already plugged in some events here, and we're going to go straight to the add-on and see how these events and their costs are reflected in the add-on. And a couple of ways that you get to the Plan and Monitor page is first by direct link here on the home page. Second, this is a preferred way by me, is through the setup page. First, you refresh your memory on what you have here, if you haven't looked at it in a day or two. Second, this allows you to quickly update the values before you get to Plan and Monitor page. Let's jump right to it. So Plan and Monitor page has a toolbar and then starts with a list of, well, first the initial balance that you have entered in the setup page, and then it lists all of the events and their impacts and your balance changes for the period of time that you have specified in the setup page. So the toolbar consists of three buttons. One is refresh, obviously, refreshes the list of events, the projection. Second, jumps back to the setup page in case if you need to make some quick updates. And the third is the help desk, which allows you to submit any questions or support tickets if you encounter issues with this page or some unexpected behavior. So this is followed by the initial balance that you've set on the setup page, and then a list of the events along with their costs and impact to your budget. And you can see I have a daily trip to Starbucks. I actually added this event just to be able to properly track my changes in my balance from day to day. And this repeating event, this daily event, has a cost of, each occurrence of this event has a cost of $5, and this is why I typed in -5 here. If you have questions on how to use, questions about some details of how to use exactly Paycheck Planner, you can go over the user guide page how to use Paycheck Planner, and it details out exactly what the proper format for the values are, and where to put and how to properly format either the title or the notes for your events so that those costs are properly captured in your projection. So back to the events. I have the daily event of Starbucks with a cost of $5. I have a lunch with Jim on Tuesday, and that will cost me about $20. I expect. There is a grocery shopping that I need to do after work, and that's going to cost me. And you'll notice here I actually used the title. It would be easier to use if I use the mobile device to create this event. So grocery shopping trip space -200. That's the impact to my budget. Then I have a payment of $50 to me because I have sold my TV stand and the pickup is scheduled for Thursday at 9. I expect to receive $50. I have some no-cost event. Then I have a mall trip, -50. Um, as I walk through these events, you can see them line by line in the chronological order listed on the um, the plan and monitor page. We have the Starbucks events here. We have lunch with Jim here as the first one-off event. Then I have grocery shopping trips. We'll get to this side very shortly and I'll explain what exactly those icons mean and all of the other elements of each of the event projection there. Then I have late lunch with Rick, and that's gonna cost me about -50, so 15. I'm sorry, $15. All right, so let's take a look at this. The Starbucks. I start with $250. The Starbucks cost each $5, so here I go down to 245 and 240. Lunch with Jim costs about 20, and you can see that it properly identifies the cost here, and then it it gets the updated balance for me for each of the qualifying events with an impact. And you'll see that the negative impact definitely is very clearly shown with the downward pointing arrow. Here, I actually have a warning sign because the warning sign usually means that you have gone below the 20% of the initial balance. And at this point, we're at $15 below the 25, well, below the $50. Um, so that we're in a kind of a warning. We're in a low safety territory here. We need to watch pay close attention to what events and what costs we have coming up next. We have Starbucks here drop down the budget or the balance drop down to $10. Well, I have a TV stand pickup. I expect to be paid 50, but I really need to be careful still at this point. I have a no cost event. You'll notice that the no cost event on the 4th of June at 10:30 has no third line, no impact line, which means that it's just a flat arrow. It doesn't uh, cause anything to my budget. Cause it doesn't add or reduce my budget. Then a mall trip here, I have again a number actually of exclamation marks here because I'm really below the 20% threshold there, almost down to zero. My new balance is $5. Well, and on Friday, late lunch with Rick cost me $15. This sign means it's critical state. You're in critical state. The budget dropped below $10. This probably means that I won't be able to pay for lunch, or I'll have to ask Rick for some money to cover for me, or I'm gonna go hungry that day. We don't want to do that. You might want to think about how you maybe reshuffle the events, maybe remove some, cancel some events to better manage this um, uh, uh, this week's expenses, and we can do that maybe by canceling mall trip. I'm gonna cancel the mall trip, and we're gonna refresh. Okay, and now we can last much longer here, way beyond just this week. So let's add a little, maybe solve a little puzzle here. So when I meet with Rick, I actually owe him 20 bucks. And I would like to add this cost also to the late lunch with Rick to the cost of the event. But I also want to make sure that I remember that I have to give him money, not just the lunch will be more expensive. So I can do this. So one way is to add $20 to 15 and just record $35. This would not be as clear to me if I just recorded 15 and maybe then 20. I'll save this and refresh. Well, actually, didn't have to refresh. I got back to the plan and monitor page from a home page, so didn't have to refresh there. But you will see the late lunch with Rick hasn't changed the value from $15. And the reason why is because, and again, we're going to go back to. I'm going to suggest that you go back. If this is a question for you, then I would suggest that you go back to how to use Paycheck Planner page and read about exactly the right proper format to use for the numbers, etc. All of the little details that make this add-on work. So I can't actually record a second value here because the only value that will be taken and used as a cost of the event is the first properly formatted value. And the proper format is a number, maybe with decimal places, that starts with either a negative or a positive, either plus or minus. So I can't add a second number because it would just not notice the $20. Instead, and this will make the things a lot more clear for me and for the sake of projection of the expenses for this week. I will add return Rick's money at the same time, and so I will record, and I can just record here. Negative 20. That's the impact to my budget. If we rerun the projection here, we will see that return Rick's money also starts at 1 p.m. It's going to probably give me a little reminder if I set, and then we're late lunch with Rick starting at the same time, costing me $15. So we have achieved accuracy in our projection. We have now a special reminder that's going to pop up to remind me that I actually have to return Rick his money, not just have lunch with him. And yeah, we'll be able to manage these costs separately. Now this concludes a brief overview of the Paycheck Planner Plan and Monitor page. If you do have any suggestions, I ask that you submit your suggestions as a support request. Questions, suggestions, or issue reports. Thank you.